The Colosseum of Zarthak had witnessed countless battles across 3 millennia, but never had the assembled crowd of alien dignitaries fallen so utterly silent. The massive crystalline dome that housed the arena trembled with the reverberations of the Beast King's roar, a sound that could shatter mountains and had terrorized a dozen star systems. Ambassador Veltar of the Hegemony adjusted his ceremonial robes with trembling tentacles. The plan had been perfect. Demonstrate the futility of human resistance by feeding their champion to Gorthak the Destroyer, the most feared creature in known space. The Beast King stood 12 feet tall, its chitinous hide scarred by plasma cannon fire that had failed to penetrate its natural armor. Razor-sharp claws extended from limbs thick as tree trunks, and its 3 rows of crystalline teeth could bite through starship hulls. "Behold the might of the Hegemony," Veltar announced through the arena's amplification system. "Let this be a lesson to any who would dare resist our expansion." The crowd of alien spectators, Zephyrians with their iridescent wings, the rock-like Krillians, the gaseous nebula spawn, all leaned forward in anticipation. They had come to witness the symbolic crushing of humanity's spirit. But the figure that emerged from the opposing gate was not what anyone expected. She was small even by human standards, perhaps 8 years old with tangled brown hair and eyes that seemed far too old for her face. Her clothing was simple, a worn jumpsuit bearing the emblem of the Terran colony ship Hope's Dawn. She carried no weapons, no armor, no technological augmentations, just a small battered stuffed animal tucked under one arm. The Beast King's roar died in its throat, its massive head tilted, multiple eyes focusing on the tiny figure walking steadily across the sand-covered arena floor. "What is the meaning of this?" Veltar hissed into his communicator. "Where is their champion? Their warrior?" The response crackled back from the holding cells. "Sir, the humans. They insisted this was their representative. They wouldn't send anyone else." In the VIP section, Captain Sarah Chen of the Hope's Dawn sat with rigid composure, though her knuckles were white where they gripped the armrests. Beside her, the colony's senior staff watched in horrified fascination as young Emma Larson approached the creature that had devastated entire military fleets. Emma stopped 20 feet from Gorthak, seemingly oblivious to the fact that the beast could cover that distance in a single bound. She studied the creature with the same intensity she might apply to a difficult math problem. "You're scared," she said, her child's voice carrying clearly in the hushed arena. The Beast King's head snapped back as if struck. A low rumble emerged from its chest, not quite a roar, more like a question. Emma took a step closer. "I know what it's like. Being far from home. Being afraid." She held up her stuffed animal, a small Earth-made bear with one missing eye. "This is Mr. Buttons. He helps me when I'm scared." The Hegemony officials began murmuring amongst themselves. This wasn't how the demonstration was supposed to proceed. Where was the violence, the terror, the decisive victory that would cow the human colonists into submission? "The creature is hesitating," observed Prime Overseer Corthane, his crystalline form refracting the arena lights into rainbow patterns. "This is unexpected." Gorthak lowered its massive head, bringing one enormous eye level with Emma. The child reached out slowly, placing her small palm against the creature's snout. The Beast King went completely still. "You don't want to hurt people," Emma said softly. "They made you do it, didn't they? Just like they made us come here." Something extraordinary happened then. The rage that had burned in Gorthak's eyes, the fury that had made it the Hegemony's most feared weapon, began to fade. In its place was something the assembled aliens had never seen from the Beast King: intelligence, recognition, humanity. Captain Chen leaned forward, understanding flooding through her. The Hegemony's files had mentioned that Gorthak was a specimen captured from a pre-spaceflight world. They had assumed it was simply a powerful predator. But what if it had been more? What if it had been a person, transformed and tortured into becoming their monster? Emma seemed to sense it too. "What was your name?" she whispered. "Before they changed you?" The great beast's mouth opened, and instead of a roar, a sound emerged that chilled every observer to their core. A keening wail of loss and longing, of a mind remembering what it had once been. "That's okay," Emma said, tears streaming down her face. "You don't have to remember right now, but you're not alone anymore." She sat cross-legged in the sand and patted the ground beside her. Without hesitation, The creature that had terrorized star systems lowered itself to lie beside an 8-year-old human girl. The arena erupted in chaos. Hegemony officials screamed orders. Security forces scrambled to contain what they saw as a malfunction in their carefully orchestrated demonstration. But Gorthak ignored them all, carefully curling its massive form around Emma like a protective barrier. "Stand down!" Captain Chen's voice cut through the commotion as she activated her communicator. "All human forces prepare for extraction. We're getting our people out of here." The Hope's Dawn had been positioning itself above the planet while everyone's attention was focused on the arena. Now its weapons came online, targeting the hegemony ships in orbit. "You cannot do this," Veltar shrieked. "The hegemony will not—" "The hegemony," Captain Chen interrupted, standing to address the assembled aliens, "just learned something important about humans. We don't abandon our own, ever. Not our children, and apparently not yours either." In the arena below, Emma was humming a lullaby her mother used to sing, while Gorthak, perhaps remembering melodies from its own lost world, began to hum along in harmonious counterpoint. The rescue shuttles descended through the arena's opening dome. But they didn't just extract the human colonists. At Emma's insistence, they took Gorthak too. The Beast King, no longer a weapon, but once again a person seeking to remember who they used to be. As the human ships jumped to hyperspace, leaving the stunned hegemony behind, one truth echoed across the galaxy. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their warfare. It was their absolute refusal to see others as anything less than worthy of compassion. The Beast King had roared at the arena, proclaiming dominance through fear, but a human child had whispered back with something far more powerful: understanding. And in that whisper, 2 lost souls had found their way home.